Hey guys, welcome. I'm Catherine, and this is a little bit of Pet Homestead. So for those of you who are just joining me who have never watched any of my videos before, please hit like, subscribe, and share with others, because that's really my goal and my motivation here is to empower and encourage others to live not only a self-sufficient life, is victory gardens. And this is something that I've talked about pretty religiously for the last 6 or 7 years. And not that I ever expected that we would encounter some sort of survival situation or even anything that was reminiscent to when victory gardens first originated during the World Wars. So they really became an event during World War I, 1917-ish. And there was actually a government commission that was created to encourage people to, and while I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to start some seeds here because my mission this year is to have an abundant garden, like an overly abundant garden. So, and you guys out there, if you could tell me what you guys are growing in your garden, because I love seeing where we are all at on different stages throughout the nation, throughout them as another garden. So what I'm doing here today, you may not be able to do for a couple months depending on your location, or you may have already started what I'm doing several months ago. So, and that's the beauty of a garden, is it's there's so many variables, it's flexible. Tammy, so you got onions and lettuce going. Awesome. Are you growing them indoors or outdoors? I suspect you're doing indoors, knowing your location. So today I am starting eggplants, and I'm actually using seeds. I'm normally a Mary's Heirloom seed junkie. She's my only seed lady. I adore her. I bought these like 10 years ago. It was a bulk pack. It was actually Tammy says yes to start, so indoors. So this was actually a bulk pack. It was a survival pack that I bought in 2010. So it was when I was doing my garden, not my business. So I'm going to attempt to germinate these seeds. They may or may not be productive for me, but we'll find out. And that's also a beauty of gardening, is just keep on experimenting, guys. You may grow some things, you may kill some things. If you wait until you're absolutely dependent on your garden to start your first garden, you're definitely going to kill yourself and your family. And I hate to put it so bluntly, but don't wait until you need it to grow it. You got to get in there and get dirty and learn. So going back to the topic at hand, victory gardens. So that's something that I'm kind of seeing a resurgence of, and I'm excited to see that. People all over the nation this is gardening season in general. And people are starting their gardens, but I think we've got a renewed focus. We're really looking at it because we've had a wake-up call as a nation. Sorry guys, I got to get this cardboard box. It's got my seeds. Oh, and it's stuck, that figure. Okay, it's going to be loud for a second as I pull this out. So I've got all my pots in here, and I need more pots. You can never have enough pots. I buy them in bulk from Greenhouse Mega Store, I think is the name. Oh, okay. That should be good for right now. Sorry, distraction on my end. I thought I was good. I thought I had everything set up. That never fails. So anyways, victory gardens. I think they're coming back in like real excitement, and people are really renewed and refocused on their food supply, because we've had a wake-up call as a nation, guys. And for the first time, at least in my adult lifetime, and I did survive through September 11th, and I say survive, and I don't mean like there was any real threat to the livelihood of our personal family, but we went through that event and we saw how the nation changed. I was young at the time, but it was also an eye-opener, and I'm hoping that this event here is an eye-opener for many. And so we're really reanalyzing where our food comes from. I hope there's a new push for self-sufficiency and to be resilient, because when we're dependent on others and the supply runs out, that's a very helpless feeling, guys. So, and I wouldn't want that or wish that upon anyone. And they're simple, ridiculously simple actions that you can take. So back in 1917, when the first victory gardens, they actually called war gardens at the time, and there was a commission created by the government that put out pamphlets to families and households that encouraged them to occupy any vacant land, not only in their yards, but schools, along roadsides, empty plots. And so if it wasn't already agricultural, No Dough Acres. Hey, Scott, welcome. It's good to see you, fellow New Mexican. So they were really encouraging people to occupy any vacant land and turn it into food plots and to really be active in the food supply, and it was a patriotic thing. So people were encouraged by the government to grow food, and they were given instructions, they were given help, they were asked to document their experiences so that they could track things like pests and diseases, and it was this really beneficial thing for the nation. It took pressure off of our armed forces because we as a nation were providing for ourselves, and so any resources were then able to be channeled and funneled to the soldiers themselves. And so it was this beautiful web of community and food growing and back to basics and learning skills, and people were actually so productive in their victory gardens that the government then turned to the next phase, which was teaching people how to preserve their harvest. And guys, we've lost a lot of these skills. And it's really, that's a scary position to be skillless in a department so important as our food supply. This is literally survival. And so not only are homesteaders across the nation seeing that these skills are in demand, we are willing and wanting to encourage and support and teach you guys. And so that's something I've seen. I have this beautiful community of homesteaders that are all YouTube channels. And I'm kind of seeing this like renewed enthusiasm across the board from not only people who have been doing this for years because they're seeing their skills come to benefit. So sometimes it's really good to be a homesteader. Amen. I will not sugarcoat the fact that it's a ton of work. I can tell you that I can see why people walked away from an agrarian lifestyle, because it doesn't matter if you're sick, it doesn't matter if you're tired, it doesn't matter if you're cold. You've got animals that need you. You can't just ignore your garden for weeks on end. So it's work, it's a commitment. But you know what, guys? Seeing people scared for their food supply over the last several weeks has been heartbreaking. And not that homesteaders have it all figured out, and not that we are totally self-sufficient. We are dependent on the system as well. Scott says it's so worth it, so worth it, so worth it. Because you know what? Even if it's just for peace of mind, Tammy says we need to go back to what our grandparents were doing before I was born. Learning is free and easily out there now. Amen. And so that was our grandparents' era. Ruth, hey! So, what the hell? Rose, why did I call you Ruth? So I hate this whole channel name thing because then I'm expected to remember everybody's names, and I am terrible about that in general. So sorry, I'm a terrible friend, because Rose and I are actually great friends. She's over at Wholesome Roots. If you guys don't know her, go check her out, because she is all about raising goats. And when I started my goat adventure, she was one that I followed religiously because she is the goat authority. And so don't call her Ruth, call her Rose. So, okay, I'm planting eggplants. My daughter asked if she could be out here with me, and I told her the entire act of going live is a little nerve-wracking, that not only do I have a topic that I'm trying to remember, but then I'm also trying to have conversations and interactions. And it's like being a mom. I absolutely love this, but when you've got 3 kids and a husband and animals all trying to demand your attention, the brain neurons don't always connect. So be gracious with me. So good afternoon, Catherine. It's Sean. And I called you Scott. Holy crap. Look at me. Sean. I'm just going to cuss. So call me anything, just not late for dinner. I love you guys. So I'm just not going to even call you names. I'm just going to call you by your channel names. So, and that'll be a lot less embarrassing for me on my end. You guys can really call me whatever the hell you want, because I'll answer to anything. So I was joking around. And see, I'm trying to stay on topic here, and I'm distracted too. So all us New Mexicans got to stick together. Amen, right? Because it's all about community, and that's what this whole video is about, is community and supporting one another. So Tambo, that's why I can remember your name, is because you're so close to your actual name. So I am Little Bits of Heaven Homestead, and my actual real name is Catherine. As I was joking with people that I've called my fans and friends stalkers for years, and I get stalker mail, and it's really fun And it's been like this adventure. And then I joked on one of my videos that I'm just going to start calling myself Mama Cat, and I'm going to call you guys kittens. And for those of you who don't know me, I am very active on Facebook. In fact, I've been very active in a series of homesteading groups that I help admin. And we call ourselves the Shit Empire because our groups are all something, something, and shit. And God, I'm revealing way too much about myself tonight, guys. So you're gonna either love me or hate me. So my shit groups were the Shit Empire. So instead of calling you guys kittens, I was joking about calling you guys shittens, mostly because it made me laugh. And really, that's all I care about most of the time, is entertaining myself and having fun in my own life. And I hope that it brings joy to others and that you guys are enjoying the ride. So anyways, so thanks, Rose. Wholesome roots. So anyways, back on topic, victory gardens. So this is a disadvantage of live, is I get distracted and go off on weird tangents, and then I reveal my true weirdness, which is probably either a blessing or a curse. Welcome to my weird world. Anna, welcome. I love it when you catch me too. I miss you too. If you go back, you're gonna see how weird I am. So I'm planting eggplants today. So Sean, No Acres, says if it's not fun, it may not be worth doing. Amen. Because I'm trying to embrace life and enjoy it, because life is so short, guys. And if you're not having fun and really getting giggles, I don't know what to tell you. Choose happiness. Okay, I'm going to end up with a lifetime supply of eggplants because I'm just totally unfocused and sticking them in the dirt. And this has happened to me this year, and I think that this is happening to a lot of us. So grow food, not lawns. Amen, right? So I think this is happening to a lot of us. We're feeling food insecurity. We're going back to our roots. We're going back to the dirt. And best I can tell, there is going to be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of us with the best gardens we have ever had in our lives, because this is giving us a sense of security. This is giving us a sense of control. This is giving us a sense that we can actually provide for our families, that if our survival were dependent on it, that this isn't going to feed me for months, 3-4 months. This is eggplants. It's not an instant gratification thing. But if I continually stick seeds in the ground, I will eventually reap something, because if you sow enough, you will reap something. And it's not a guaranteed crop. That's something with gardening and planting in general, is you may plant 100 seeds and for some reason you may not get any. Or you may plant 100 seeds and you may get 100 plants. Moonchild Farm, love it. So I grew up about 400 tomato starts. Hold on, I gotta scroll again. Thinking I was gonna plant swap, so now we're a tomato farm, right? So I planted cabbage. I love cabbage. I love kraut. I usually start maybe a dozen, and I end up with maybe 4 that I actually harvest. And this year I started, I think, 40 cabbages. I've already planted 18. Can you guys see? I still have 24 to go. I hope we love cabbage. I hope we love kraut, because sometimes it's feast or famine. So back to victory gardens, that was the next phase that the US government started. So people were so successful in growing their own food, and it was an abundance. They started teaching people how to preserve. And guys, this is the skills that our grandparents learned. So I'm wondering if it is this multi-generational roller coaster of we learn the skills and then we lose the skills. So Tammy says, I'm still a newbie to veggie garden. The other stuff I grow well. I'm doing cabbage too. Okay, we'll just keep plugging along, because I'm going to tell you, you're going to kill some stuff. There's a learning curve to it. Don't give up. You may plant seeds. So I'm not even sure that my seeds are going to germinate. I put 2 per pot. Like I said, these seeds are 10 years old, so this is totally a science experiment. It may or may not work out. But you know what? If I didn't plant anything at all, I can guarantee that nothing would grow. So there you go. It's just all a matter of perspective. So next I'm going to do zinnias, because I'm about pollinator gardens and beneficials and companion planting and bringing in good bugs and beautiful gardens, because I like it's a visually enjoyable experience growing food. It's a whole sensorial experience, because not only are you digging in the dirt and you get the positives from that, you get to experience bringing life into the world from nothing, which is really a cool thing. And then if you get it far enough that you're able to harvest, I mean, it's just this whole beautiful experience that really connects you to not only the food supply, but life in general. So I have milkweed seed. I can't wait for those to bloom. I've never grown milkweed. I need to do that. So then the gardens, I see I keep getting off topic. So our grandparents, I believe that, and I don't know for sure because my great-great-grandparents, Moonchild says, zinnias are my favorite and so easy. I planted tons in Texas. Yeah, they're beautiful. So I'm going to start them in my greenhouse and then also put some outside in my actual garden, because I like to do layers. And so I see which performs better in what environment, and that way, and then I make notes so that next year and years following, I can go back and say, okay, well, this was successful, but this wasn't. And that's a whole part of the science experimentation. Let's see here. This year's garden went from 120 square feet to 1,100 square feet. Wow. See, that doesn't surprise me. And I'm hearing that across the board. And that was what prompted this video. And my column this week in the local newspaper is that I'm seeing this renewed excitement and interest, and people have seen insecurity in the food supply. And so I'm really hoping that there is a whole new movement, that this is creating what our great, well, no, not necessarily great, but our grandparents went through. Well, yeah, it would be our great-grandparents too, because it was our grandparents were kids. They grew up in the Great Depression, and then they went on to World War II themselves. And so they experienced it from both young childhood and then adulthood. And so it was definitely fresh in their minds, and that was a concern for them. And that's where they really got strong in their skills. And so we have an opportunity to do the same. And so we really should be maximizing this opportunity, because there is no reason that you can't, even if you live in an apartment or a small lot in town, you can totally do container gardens. You can totally do pots. I am a newspaper delivery carrier is one of my 18 million jobs. And because this is so near and dear to my heart, as I see people's gardens everywhere. And there's a customer that I deliver to, and in fact I was out talking to him the other day, and I said I just love watching his garden grow every year, because it's nothing but 5-gallon pots in their front yard, and it's a series of them. And I'm like, this is just creative, and that's ingenuity in its finest, guys. There is no excuse to not grow food. So let's see here. I've just got about 2 more pots to go, and then I am done for my day. I'm trying to not invest huge amounts of time and energy. If you just plug along and you do 5-10 minutes every day, you're going to see amazing results, guys. And that goes across any aspect of your life. If you just consistently and persistently put a little bit of effort into something, you'll see results, because that's just the way life works. And so you can't put energy into something and not see results. So wholesome roots / rows. I might disappear as I go outside to bottle feed the kids. So, well, I'm getting ready to drop off. Christopher, Inconvenient Skills, welcome. See, I at least know some people. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you joining me. I hope this gave you something of value. Sorry about my discombobulated train of thought there, because like I said, it's like a mom, and I do get a little distracted and all over the place as I'm talking to you guys, mostly because I'm excited for the community and to see you. So Lana, what soil do you use with containers? Mostly I build my own soil, and I know that that's not very helpful to you. It's a combination of hay and goat poop and rabbit poop and soil that I rake up, and a lot of kitchen compost. Right now I found a bag of back to earth compost blend. It's organic, that I found it in my shed as I was cleaning up for my brooders, which I'll bring a video to you guys on setting up chicken brooders. I got chicks and ducks this past week, guys. So I've got like 21 chickens and 5 ducks in my shed. So Wholesome Roots says, sounds like my soil. Yeah, it's a blessing when you have an abundance of livestock in your yard, because you've got this whole cycle, and there is no such thing as waste on a homestead. Pretty much everything gets used, and it creates more life. So it's this beautiful cycle. So cocoa coir, peat moss, compost manure, and perlite is mine. Yeah, I think that's a really common combination there. So when I was first starting gardening, I started gardening long before I started official homesteading. And I just bought tons and tons and tons of compost and put it into my in-the-ground garden. I spent thousands of dollars, guys. So I try to look at my goats, which are by far my biggest input as far as feed and resources. I look at it as just pouring into them feed that will become my compost. So Lana says, thank you. You're welcome. I know that wasn't, my pots are packed. I've got seeds started. I'll be plugging away at this again tomorrow, but I will most likely do my next video on setting up the brooders because I've got that going right now and I'm trying to do real life. So I hope this was of value, but it's getting to be more and more compost with the natural soil as my compost becomes better. It needs to improve because the more you amend, the better things get. So beautiful circle of life. Okay guys, I am out of here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Get out there, get dirty, stick some seeds in the ground, plant something, grow your victory gardens. It's been good to see you guys. I'll talk to you later.